The shocking tape I found of my wife and her ex-husband's wedding night. My name is Jose, and I'm a 49-year-old man who has been married to Kelly, now 42, for 6 years. We first crossed paths in a bar at Mexico City International Airport back in 2014. Both of us were stuck waiting for a late-night flight to London. Kelly was the first to notice me, her eyes quickly scanning the 4 yellow stripes on my epaulettes before she turned on her bar stool and flashed me a smile. It wasn't a real smile, though. I could tell. There was something off about it, almost like she had just been crying moments before. Her very first words to me were, "Are you flying somewhere far, far away?" I didn't think much of it then, but I told her about my destination. When she found out, she laughed, saying she'd be on my flight too. That's when I made the same corny joke I've used countless times before. "Don't worry, I just finished reading Flying for Dummies." She laughed politely, but I knew it was just to be kind. The truth was, I was already hooked. There was something about this stranger, this heartbroken woman sitting beside me, that had me captivated from the start. I still remember everything she said that night. Her words are etched into my memory, unlike my own, which have become vague, blurry echoes of our conversation. Maybe it was the way she spoke, or maybe it was something deeper. My mother used to say, Kelly put a spell on me, and now, after everything, I think she might have been right. Kelly opened up to me that night, completely unprompted. She told me she was on her honeymoon in Mexico but had cut it short. She had married a man named Michael, who turned out to be someone far more dangerous than she ever imagined. He was an abuser and a manipulator. "I'm a liar because of him," she told me, her voice breaking. "He emptied me." That phrase, "he emptied me," stuck with me for years. I didn't fully understand it then, but something about the way she said it sent chills down my spine. At the time, I thought maybe she was just a scared woman, broken by a toxic relationship. Now I wonder if it was more than that. Maybe she was trying to warn me. Looking back, I should have left it at that. We should have parted ways after that conversation at the bar. But I didn't. I couldn't. Something drew me to her, and I couldn't stop myself from wanting to see her again. It wasn't like me to fall for a married woman, but with Kelly, it was different. I can't explain it even now, but it wasn't love. Not the kind of love I'd always known. It was something else. Something darker. I ended up staying in London for a week, and during that time, I checked in on Kelly almost every day. She was staying in a hotel, too afraid to return to Cambridge where she lived, because she believed Michael would find her. Despite my urging, she refused to go to the police, which seemed strange even back then. But the more time we spent together, the closer we became. I found myself flying to England more often just to see her. Even taking a short flight from Paris to London once just to be with her for a few hours. A year later, we had both made decisions that would change our lives. I had secured a job at Heathrow as an airport technician, moved to England, and eventually we bought a house together. By 2018, we were married. For the longest time, I thought that was the end of the story. We had moved on, built a life together, and Michael became nothing more than a ghost of her past. That was until yesterday morning, when everything changed. I was tidying up one of our storage cupboards, trying to deal with what I jokingly referred to as its cluster of clutter. I should have been relaxing, maybe enjoying a coffee or a walk, but instead I was knee-deep in forgotten boxes and old belongings. That's when I found it. A camcorder that had tumbled out of the mess. It was a relic, one I had no idea Kelly still had. Curiosity got the better of me, as it always does. I couldn't resist seeing what was on the tape. I plugged it in, hoping it wasn't too degraded to play. At first, the device resisted, flashing error messages. I almost gave up, but after some cleaning and rewinding, I got it to work. The first thing I saw on the grainy screen was a date, September 10th, 2014, a week before I met Kelly. That's when the footage began. Kelly stepped out of a bathroom in wedding lingerie. My stomach sank, realizing exactly what kind of tape I had stumbled upon. And before you judge me, no, it wasn't like that. I wasn't watching it out of sick curiosity or some voyeuristic need. I was watching because something didn't feel right. There was something wrong with that room, with the atmosphere, with the very air in the video. I could feel it even through the screen. Kelly sprawled on the bed, waiting for Michael to join her, but something else in the video caught my attention. The walls of the hotel room, they seemed to pulse, almost like they were alive. I stared at them, knowing something was terribly off but not able to pinpoint it just yet. Then, Kelly whispered something to Michael. "Get rid of that camera," wagging her finger playfully. But his response wasn't playful. His breathing was labored, heavy, like something primal was controlling him. He didn't listen to her. Instead, he muttered, "We need to preserve this moment." Kelly's smile faltered, and that's when I noticed it, her fear. She wasn't afraid of the camera anymore. She was afraid of something else in that room, something I could feel but couldn't see. And then, Michael did something I still struggle to comprehend. He turned towards the corner of the room, the empty corner, and nodded, as if acknowledging someone. But there was no one there, at least not that I could see. That's when the wall shifted. Something behind it moved, pressing against the plaster like it was trying to break through. For just a moment, I saw the shape of something, inhuman. And then, in an instant, it was gone. The room returned to normal, but Kelly didn't. She screamed, not at Michael, but at whatever was lurking in that corner, hidden from view. From that point on, the video became a nightmare I can hardly put into words. Michael did the unthinkable, reaching inside Kelly's mouth, pulling something out that defied all logic and understanding. It wasn't her insides, but something worse. Another version of her, a twisted, distorted clone of my wife, emerging from her own body. I couldn't watch anymore. I threw the camcorder back into the cupboard and tried to calm myself, but the terror followed me. When Kelly came home later that day, her eyes, they weren't the same. I could feel it. I'm writing this from a service station somewhere far from home, too terrified to go back. I can still feel that thing, whatever it is, closing in on me. And I don't know if it's after me or if Kelly sent it. All I know is I need to get as far away as I can before it finds me, before it does to me what it did to her. I don't know what to do. If anyone is reading this, please help me.